I'm thrilled to present my first ever Kiwi Ear IEM for review, and this is an affordable IEM priced around 25 USD range, making it very perfect for budget-conscious audiophiles. We'll dive deeper into the sound quality as well as comparing this to the likes of the famous contenders in the market like the impressive Moondrop Chu, the renowned 7Hz Salnotes Zero, as well as the community favorite, the QKZ HBB IEMs. The Dolce IEM comes in a single color design with its blue gradient tone, looks like a midnight sky. Its body is made from an ultra durable medical grade resin material. All I know is the shell is rather thick and you can still see the semi-see-through element right here. It has that blue tint slightly. All I know is each earbuds weighs about 5.1 grams, a little bit on the heavy side, but I wouldn't mind. Overall, it's 25 grams together with the cable right here. Now the cable is an over-the-ears type with preheated silicone bands right here. In terms of the cable quality, it feels close to the Moondrop Chu and it doesn't tangle up easily, and I still like the bronze copper see-through material. I prefer this over the KZ material where it's all white and it looks silverish and it's boring. This one looks a little bit more premium. Aside from that, the package comes with additional 2 ear tips for your choosing. So the Dolce IEM uses a 10mm dynamic driver with an LDP diaphragm material. So LDP is a composite material that uses 2 different types of plastic layering or crystallization to make the diaphragm to sound to a specific character that Kiwi Ear wanted it. Now before I jump into my audio experience, I would actually recommend using pentatonic see-through for Mitch Grassi's high-pitched male tenor vocals because you can use it to compare the upper mid-range to the brilliance or the highs with these IEMs and the other IEMs that I'm going to mention in this video shortly. Now aside from that, based on my test, I'm using the MacBook M2 Pro, listening between the 4th to the 6th volume mark. And when it comes to the low frequencies, I would say it packs a significant amount of energy without any distortion. The bass fades smoothly and the subtle bass vibration can be felt easily. Overall, low frequency just feels enjoyable and exciting. Here's my scoring down below. The mid frequency feels lively and frontal. Overall, the vocals lean towards the clear, bright clarity tone type, which I prefer, rather than the warm, dreamy, muddy tone, which I don't prefer at all. It has good depth and body to make it feel lifelike and fun to listen to. It feels like the person is whispering into your ears. Now when it comes to the high frequency, it leans again once more to the clear, bright clarity tone with zero muddy sounding or distortion towards the highs. The highs feels distinct, proud and energetic. The piano feels like a happy child. Cymbals, saxophone, snares and trumpet just is on a sugar rush, but you still can control it without any distortions. Aside from that, the low frequencies does not disturb into the high frequencies because the high frequencies sounds much more audibly louder than the low frequencies, thus the great or clear separation between the 2 frequencies. Our first comparison will be against the Moondrop Chu right here, which has been my daily driver for listening J-pop music for its clinical sounding nature because I like my Japanese female vocals to stand out more in the song. Now when it comes to comparing both of them in terms of low frequency, I would say the Dolce right here is, when it comes to the bass, is audibly louder than Chu with slightly more body and depth to it. Now when it comes to the vocals, generally both of them sound quite similar, but if you listen ear to ear and using specific cues in different songs of testing, the Dolce right here has better body and somewhat better clarity and shine that makes it sound natural and lifelike, whereas the Chu right here sounds more clinically sharp without that body support to it, thus it feels unnaturally clean or clinical, whereas the Dolce right here feels a little bit more relaxed, more lifelike. Now when it comes to the high frequencies, I would say the Chu right here is super sharp, but it fades abruptly or quickly at highs, and it does not have that body to back it up, so it feels very empty, very hollow, whereas the Dolce right here sounds more better in terms of body and depth, while fades quite smoothly at the highs. So here is the frequency graph. Roughly what I just say is somewhat true to the graph. Again, I listen by ear, not based on the graph. So let's jump into the next comparison. The next comparison is the 7Hz Salnotes Zero right here. The Zero has a similar sound characteristic as the Moondrop Chu. So comparing against the Dolce for the lows to mids would be the same result as the Moondrop Chu. So you can refer back to the earlier comparison. The main difference can be found at the highs. The Zero sounds close to the Dolce right here. Just that the Dolce has better audible levels in terms of sounding a little bit more louder at the highs. This in return gives it a better separation against the low, versus the Zero, the separation between the highs and lows is a little bit like half-half right there. It feels like there's disturbance, or both of the frequency can cross mix each other, can be distracting, whereas there's a clear separation on the Dolce right here. You won't feel that distraction, that mix up right there. Aside from that, the smooth out when it comes to the highs for like trumpet, saxophones, snares is smoother on the Dolce right here, whereas the Zero here feels a little bit wobbly or half-hearted. Once more, you can refer to the frequency graph right here. So the main battlefield is against the QKZ HBB, because both IEMs right here, when I auditioned them, including with my friend John, thanks John for helping me out, basically both of them feels and sound quite similar, even before when we did the frequency graph reading. So I tried different songs, I tried different cues in the songs to try to compare them, how different they are. I would say the differences is subtle, so it's not so obvious. But anyways, when it comes to the low frequencies right here, the HBB right here is audibly louder than the Dolce, with more energy, more punchiness to it, more body and depth. The Dolce right here feels a little bit more gentle and friendlier, whereas HBB, he likes his bass to be a little bit more punchy, sounds like so. Now when it comes to the mid frequency, both of them have good depth and body, but the Dolce has better clarity while sounding more natural and more separated from the lows. Mind you, I'm not comparing against the highs yet, I'm saying mids and lows. There's better separation right here. Whereas the HBB right here feels less audible than, slightly, just a tiny hair less audible than the Dolce right here, and somewhat blend with the lows right here. It gives the vocals a little bit that warm richness to it, a little bit of the clarity taken off, whereas the Dolce right here has that better body, and given that tiny bit clarity boost, just a hairline to it. Now when it comes to the high frequency, man, this is a close fight, and to a point I admit I had to check the frequency graph to just see how much different it is from my ears and what I'm actually reading from the computer. I would say it's a close fight between these two, but HBB sharpness is very rough. It's butter sharp katana rough, like that. It just slices through a paper easily. Whereas the Dolce is easier to listen to without any ear fatigue. And mind you, I like to listen to instrumentals like saxophones and trumpet a lot. So this one feels well body, it feels sharp, it does not feel distorted at the highs. Whereas the QKZ right here, or the HBBs particularly, when I hear any trumpets blowing, I definitely need to tone down the volume by 1 or 2 marks just to make it sound less distorted or sharp in my ears. Again, once more, I'm cherry picking the differences, but generally speaking, both IEMs, if you're not using any frequency graph, both of them sound quite identical. So once more, here is the frequency graph. So here's the summary. The Kiwi Ears Dolce right here is a beautiful IEMs right here that is like a typical kit that just smashes through a long-standing battle between the tug of war of the fanboys of the Moondrop Chu and the 7Hz Salnotes Zero. I was a Chu believer, but now faring towards the Kiwi Ears Dolce right here for my balanced choice for all genres listening. I still would choose Chu for my hyper-clinical acapella IEMs choice to listen to, again once more, acapella, high-pitched male tenor vocals like Mitch Grassi from Pentatonics, or just listening to my J-pop music that I want to hear female vocals stand out more from the song. For the Zero, it's no longer my cup of tea because that feels not so good, whereas this right here, the Dolce, has better body, better bass compared to the Zero. Now for the HBB IEMs right here, I would say that is the true competitor for the Dolce IEMs right here. It is I would say the HBB has a better tuning when it comes to an uplift in bass and more U-shaped sounding, whereas the Dolce right here, for me, it comes ahead when it comes to the mids to the high frequency. Based on my personal preference, it sounds more lifelike, more natural, and good body that just feels just right. Once more, if you're interested to purchase the Kiwi Ears Dolce and other IEMs, you can check out my links in the video description. That would actually help me a bit in this channel as well. Let me know in the comments what other IEMs to review, but I like it that there's a lot of competition coming into the sub 25 USD range. I also heard rumors in the market that even Moondrop Chu will come out with a V2, and some other brands will also come out with their refresh, just to keep things spicy in the sub 25 USD category. So once more, stay tuned and subscribe to the channel, and I'll come out with more videos soon. Till then, see you guys in the next one.